Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to be talking about my birth story. If you are new here, my name's Karen. I'm a first time mum to a 17-month-old little girl and I'm just sharing random bits of my life and my motherhood journey over here on YouTube. So I know it is quite a while now since I actually gave birth. It's coming up to 18 months, which is crazy. Like, the time does just go so quickly. But this is something that I've wanted to share because I feel like generally I had a very positive birth experience, and I know especially when I was pregnant I was looking for people's experiences and people's stories, and it's quite easy to come across the not so nice ones and the sort of negative side, but there aren't quite as many positive stories, I don't think, and that's what you want, isn't it? Especially if you're a first time mom and you're doing it all for the first time. So I thought I would put mine out there, and like I always say, even if it just helps one person, then it makes it all worthwhile. So if you are currently pregnant, or maybe even just thinking about having children but you're quite nervous about the whole thing, then hopefully my story will put you at ease and make you feel a little bit better. So I'll try not to make this too long, but it will be quite chatty, so if you want to grab yourself a drink or a snack or something to watch this too, then go and do that now and then we will get into it. So I gave birth in August 2024. My due date was the 24th of August, and being a first time mum, I was fully expecting to go all the way to full term and probably beyond as well, because they say that you tend to go a little bit over when it's your first baby. So I'll actually start the story with my 36-week midwife appointment, or at least I think it was 36 weeks. I can't quite remember now, but I had a midwife appointment, just a routine appointment, and did all the usual checks and things, and then she went to measure my bump as she did every single appointment. I just had a little feel around and she's like, oh, feels a little bit like a head at the top. So I'm like, okay, that's strange, because we'd had a additional scan at 32 weeks and baby was breech at that point, and I was like, I haven't felt her move at all, so seems a bit strange. Like, I'd always assumed that was just a bum at the top. So I was like, right, okay, well obviously you're the expert. So she's like, right, I'm going to send you for an additional scan, which they had to do, I think, after 37 weeks. It was going to be the following Monday. She said, I'll send you for an additional scan just to check that everything is okay and baby is in the right position, but yeah, just to make sure that everything's okay. And obviously I'm then overthinking everything. I'm getting so anxious. I'm like, baby's breached, like, what am I going to do? We're going to have to try and turn around. I'm going to have to have a C-section and all this. So my anxiety levels started rising at that point. So yeah, we went for a scan on the following Monday and everything was fine basically. Checked baby was the right way, and yeah, carry on as normal. Right, okay, great. So I relaxed at that point. So this is on the Monday. Then I remember on the Tuesday, the following day, we went to the gym because I was just trying to still keep up with a bit of exercise and it made me feel better. So we went to the gym, and it was probably the first time my whole pregnancy, because my pregnancy was not the most pleasant. Like, I felt sick literally for 9 months. Like, I was never actually physically sick, but I felt sick for the whole time. And this was like the first time I went to the gym and I was like, oh, I feel like I've actually got energy today. Like, I feel good. And I was starting to plan in my head like the rest of the workouts I was going to do for the next few weeks before baby came, and I was like, oh, great gym session, feeling excellent. Yeah, so roll on to the next morning. We're now on to Wednesday, so it's the 7th of August, and I wake up in the morning, go to the toilet, and something's like leaking out of me, and I'm like, that's a bit strange. Like, okay, try not to think too much about it, because at this point I'm 37 weeks and 4 days. So I'm like, okay, I'm sure it's nothing. Just, as I say, tried not to think about it too much. And then as the morning progressed, I'm still leaking. I'm like, oh, maybe I've just got a bit of extra discharge or something, because I don't know, these things can happen. Now, knowing full well that it was too much, let's say, to be just discharged, but I'm like, I'm not ready to have a baby just yet. Like, it's too early in my head. I haven't completely like mentally prepared myself for it. I hadn't even written my birth plan out properly at this point, because I actually had another appointment with the midwife that week, maybe like the following day even, to go through my birth plan and everything. I was like, I'm not ready. So I'm still trying to convince myself that everything is fine. I didn't even tell Sam at this point, because I was like, it's fine, like nothing's happening. Anyway, I'd then been up maybe for like half an hour or so, and I'm getting like period type cramps in my tummy. And again, I'm telling myself this is normal, like people get this in pregnancy, especially later on, like period type pains, like everything's fine. But at this point I did tell Sam, I was like, I'm kind of like leaking. It's not too bad, but something's going on down there, and I've got some like sort of period type pain, so just to let you know. But I think everything's fine. Like even if I did go into labour now, it's my first one, so it's going to be days before anything actually happens. I'm then sat there for the rest of the morning just getting these waves of like period pains, thinking, oh no, like what's going on. And I had a nail appointment booked for that afternoon, and I was adamant, like I am getting to this nail appointment, like it's fine. Again, still convincing myself nothing's, like this is normal, nothing's happening, it's fine. And Sam was due in work that afternoon, so he was on the late shift, so he was going in about midday I think that day. So then when he went to get ready for work, I was like, I'm just gonna come with you and I'll get ready as well, you know, just in case I do have to go to the midwife or anything, so I'll get myself ready. And I remember I was sat there just like trying to do my hair and makeup and everything, couldn't sit still because these pains are getting more and more intense, just thinking like, oh, I'm not sure, like maybe something is happening. And then I put a message into a WhatsApp group there, I'm still in now actually, but it was like a due date group, and I put a message in just like saying how I was feeling and what was going on, and the other mums were like, yeah, think you might be having a baby soon. So I'm like, oh okay, all right. So then it all just starts to feel a little bit more real. So anyway, go to the toilet again, and I'm still like, it's getting a little bit worse now. So I'd put a pad in just so I could sort of see how much was actually coming out. Sorry if this is a bit TMI by the way, but I'm assuming if you're watching this video then you're okay with that level of detail. So yeah, there's more to come of it, so just a warning. So yeah, I put a pad in just to see, so I could monitor like how much was actually coming out, and it was like soaking through pretty quickly. It's like, all right, it's not stopping, definitely not stopping. The pains are getting worse. So I said to Sam, I was like, I'm gonna phone the midwife and just see what she says. So I phoned the midwife. It's now probably around 11 AM, so I've been up for a couple of hours, and phoned the midwife, explained, and she was like, all right, it does sound like your waters are broken, but if you want to come in and get checked, then come down and we'll have a look for you. So I was like, right, I want to go and get checked just so I know, because I feel like I need somebody to tell me that that's what's happened and what to do from here. So me and Sam then went down to the midwife pretty much straight away. So we were there by sort of like 12 o'clock. Got checked. She had a quick look. She's like, yeah, your waters are gone, so you're going to be having a baby today, or pretty soon anyway. I was like, oh god, right, okay. Now everything's feeling really real. So I asked her like, right, what do I do? What do I do? Never done this before. I'm now an anxious mess. I'm like not prepared. As I say, it's like 2.5 weeks earlier than I thought this was all going to happen. What do I do? So she phoned ahead to the hospital just to explain that at some point I'm going to be coming in to go back home, and if nothing's happened in like 24 hours then to head to the hospital. It's like, right, okay, we'll go and do that then. So pains are still getting worse, I'm still leaking. It's pretty grim to be honest, but that's just the reality of the situation. So we head off back home. However, I remembered that the snacks that I'd bought for hospital I'd actually already eaten because, you know, pregnancy and all that. So I needed to get some more snacks to put in my hospital bag. So I was like, can we just stop at Asda on the way home, just pick up some stuff, then we can get back. Like, right, okay, stopped at Asda, and I don't know how I even did this, but at this point it's hard to rate it on like a level of pain, but I was obviously having contractions at this point and I could barely walk, and I'm like toddling around Asda, stopping like every few minutes to like get through this contraction, toddling along again. I was telling myself like, this is mild because it's gonna get so much worse. Like I could be in labour for days, you know, again thinking when it's your first one it's gonna take forever. So I'm like, this has just got to be mild, so you know, push through it, like what am I doing? So yeah, walking through Asda, I wanted to get an outfit for baby as well. I'm like doing a full-on shop at this point, in absolute agony. So off we go round, grab some snacks, and then I remember like paying at the checkout, and I'm like doubled over in pain, like trying to breathe through it, like yeah, great, okay. Get out of there, go back home, and now I'm like, well, I've got jobs to do because, you know, again, we weren't exactly expecting this to happen today. And I thought, I've got to keep busy, so I'll just get on my jobs, put a wash on, I'm trying to like tidy up and stuff. And I thought to myself, like, when do I need to start timing these contractions? Because again, I'm assuming I'm like way early on and this is gonna go on for a long time yet. But at the same time, like these contractions felt like they were coming quite quickly, so I thought, right, let's just start timing them now. So I did that, and after like the first couple, it was telling me already on the app that I was using, think about going to hospital. I'm like, well, I can't be, like, we're only just starting, like surely not, like maybe I need to have a few more and it'll like adjust itself or whatever. So we keep timing them and it just keeps coming up saying go to hospital, go to hospital. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to that for now. And I was planning on just having a bath and things and just getting myself relaxed and staying at home for as long as possible, basically. So this goes on for a few hours, and then I'm trying to think what time. It was maybe around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I've got the TENS machine and everything on at this point. I'm still having contractions like every like minute or so, and I thought, right, I'm gonna have to phone the hospital, I think, and just ask them what they want me to do, because I don't want to trek there. It's like a 20 to 30 minute car ride to the hospital. I don't want to go all that way to then just be sent straight back. So I thought I'll phone them up and I'll ask them what they want me to do. And at this point Sam's a bit like, are we going to hospital yet? He's thinking at this point we're gonna have a baby on the living room floor. So phoned the hospital and spoke to the lovely midwife there, and she basically said, oh, well, it sounds like you're breathing through your contractions and you're managing pretty well, because obviously I had a few on the phone while I was talking to her. And she said, you seem to be managing okay, so just stay at home for a bit longer, for as long as you can, and then come in a little bit later on. So I'm like, right, okay, midwife's told me I need to stay at home. So I just carry on doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to bounce on my ball, got the TENS machine on, trying to walk around, but it's getting harder and harder. Like it's pretty uncomfortable at this point. And then I remember I had this one contraction which seemed to go on for so long, it just would not stop, and I was like, what do I do here? And then I thought I was going to be sick, so I ran upstairs. I wasn't sick, but like it was so intense. And then I thought, I don't know if I need to go to the toilet or if I need to push. So at that point it's like, right, I'll try and go to the toilet, because again, like, I know sometimes that is something that happens when you're sort of in labour. Went to the toilet and I was like, I feel like I need to start pushing. So I'm like, oh god. So I'm like, right, I think we need to go to the hospital now. So quickly packed up all our stuff and we headed to the hospital. And that car journey, it was horrific, honestly. Bless him, Sam. He was like trying to play like calming music for me and everything and distract me. I've got the TENS machine on. I'm sat there in the passenger seat. I didn't even look out the window, I don't think, for the whole car ride, because I was just so focused on every contraction, just not pushing. So I was like, I don't want to have a baby in the car. But at the same time, again, it's really strange, because even though I could feel my body wanted to push and I'm like stopping it, I was still thinking, we're going to get to the hospital and they're going to tell me I'm like 4 centimetres and they're going to send us back home. Like, that was still in my mind. So I'd kind of wanted to stay home a little bit longer, but at the same time I was like, no, let's just go, because this is getting a bit too intense. So drove to the hospital, and that was the worst, like 30 minutes. That was the worst thing, that car ride. But we made it there. Luckily, we even got a parking space. At our hospital, it is normally impossible to get a parking space. So I was expecting for him to drop me off and go and dump the car somewhere and come and find me after. But we actually managed to get a parking space, which was a miracle. And then trying to get into the hospital, I'm in absolute agony. We had to go upstairs to where the labour ward was. And yeah, just that walk through the hospital was horrible. And I remember walking past women who I could see they had like their folders that you get when you're pregnant, so they'd obviously been for like pregnancy appointments, and I'm there like obviously in labour, struggling, trying to get through the hospital. I'm like, I hope I'm not putting any of these ladies off, like hopefully I'm doing okay. But yeah, I managed to get there, and I was midwife led, so went onto the midwife led unit. There was nobody there, and obviously I'd phoned ahead so they knew we were coming, so straight away they were like, oh, Karen, yeah, okay, great, got the room ready for you. So go into the room, and it was lovely. So because I was a low risk pregnancy and I wanted a water birth if possible, that would have been in my birth plan if I'd had chance to write it properly. So yeah, I wanted a water birth if I could, and luckily because there was like nobody else there, we did get to go in the room that I wanted with the pool and everything, which was amazing. So yeah, we were taken into the room, and we hadn't actually brought all the bags and everything with us because one, I was expecting to get sent straight home anyway, and two, we just wanted to like suss out what was going on and then we could get ourselves sorted. So we hadn't brought everything in with us. So the midwife examined me and everything, and she was like, okay, you're 10 centimetres. And I'm like, sorry, what? 10 centimetres? How? Like this has only been going on for a few hours. Like I thought it went on for days. But anyway, yeah, 10 centimetres. And she was like, did you want to go in the pool? I was like, yeah, that would be my preference if we can. So she said, right, okay, I'm going to fill the pool up. It's going to take about 20 minutes, so just don't push. I'm like, easier said than done, but I will try my best. So bless her, she's trying to distract me, and I'm still there with my TENS machine, which, to be fair, like it did help. I wouldn't say it was like a miracle worker or anything, but it did definitely help, if nothing else, to sort of distract through the contractions. And Sam had then gone to get the bags, but what I didn't know at the time was, as he was leaving, the midwife has told him basically to hurry up because the baby's on its way. So he's then like panicking a bit because he thinks he's gonna miss the birth, ends up going the wrong way, getting lost. And yeah, it was quite funny actually when he told me the story. Like, obviously he didn't miss the birth, but when he came back and he was all flustered, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he's just like, tell you later sort of thing. But yeah, so the midwife filled up the pool, and I got in the pool at about 5 o'clock. So I think we got to the hospital soon after 4, and then I was in the pool by 5. And I would say that the water and the pool, it did help, and it was a relaxing environment anyway. So as I say, I was very lucky and I'm very grateful that I did get to go on the midwife led unit and be in the pool, and I had all the twinkly fairy lights and everything. So it was very relaxing. My midwife as well, to be fair, like she was amazing. Like, she was there, but I wasn't aware of her presence so much. Like, she was there but just out of the way, just doing what she needed to do. I felt very like safe and looked after, but also it was very much like just our moment, like me and Sam together. So yeah, that helps obviously with the experience. At this point I hadn't had any pain relief. I didn't, to be honest, feel like I needed it. Like, while it hurt, obviously it's not nice, it does hurt, and this is probably another reason why I felt like I wasn't as far along as I was, because everyone tells you like how painful it is. So in my head I'm expecting the worst, and I kept telling myself like, it's got to get worse than this, like this can't be the worst, like it's gonna get worse, it's gonna get worse. And it never really did. And again, I know everybody is different, I'm not going to say everyone's going to have the same experience, and yeah, very lucky that I did have an easy labour, but I never felt the pain was that bad that I really needed pain relief, if that makes any sense. Obviously everyone's pain thresholds are different as well, but like the gas and air was on the wall there, and I kept looking at it thinking, I don't even feel like I need it. And so yeah, I ended up giving birth like completely unmedicated. And I'll be honest, like, I don't always like talking about my birth story for this reason, because I feel like some people think like you're trying to brag or show off or something, and I'm not. Like, I'm literally just telling my story. And again, if you are nervous about it, obviously there are pain relief options there. They're there for a reason, so if you need them, then take them. I'm not against that. Like, in my birth plan, I did want as natural a birth as possible, but equally, if I needed the pain relief, then I would have taken it. Like, if I'd have needed a C-section, then I would have had it, obviously. So yeah, it's not a brag at all, but I'm just saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be as painful as you might be thinking it's going to be in your head, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, I managed to birth with no pain relief, didn't have gas and air, didn't have anything, and for me it was manageable and it can be done. So don't be too scared or put off by the thought of, you know, it's going to be this horrific experience. It doesn't have to be. I will mention that I had done hypnobirthing courses as well, and while I didn't apply all of that, definitely some of the breathing techniques, like they help so much, even when like I was at home breathing through the contractions. So if that's something, again, if you're pregnant, I would recommend maybe doing a hypnobirthing course, because there are elements of it that you can definitely sort of use during your labour to help. So that is a recommendation, a personal recommendation. So yeah, the breathing techniques, they really helped me. But anyway, went in the pool at about 5 o'clock and I was pushing for about an hour and gave birth at 5 to 6 in the evening. And I probably didn't have to push for that long, to be honest, but in my head I kept thinking that if I push too hard too quick and it all happens too quickly, then I'm gonna like tear in half basically, and it's gonna cause me all this damage. So just take it easy, take your time. So yeah, it was an hour of pushing. Like I say, it probably didn't need to be that long, but I was like trying to take my time with it a little bit. The worst bit, if you're watching this, you obviously want to know details, I assume. So the worst bit definitely is when what they call the ring of fire. So when baby's head is like on its way out, that was definitely the worst. But also, you know, at that point you're almost there. It's like one more push and baby's going to be out, so you can cope, like it's all good. That's like, yeah, it's almost over at that point. So yeah, gave birth at 5 to 6 and she came out into the water, and it's so bizarre. See, when it's your first, it's like, obviously you've never experienced anything like that before, and it's like in that moment it's like your life has just changed completely, and there's this tiny little human just floating around in the water. You gotta scoop her up. Yeah, it's just amazing. It is. Yeah, so she arrived and it was quite awkward because my umbilical cord was actually quite short, so I was struggling to like hold it out of the water because the cord was so short, but managed it and had a little cuddle there. We did the time before the cord cutting and everything, and then Sam cut the cord, and yeah, baby Sophia was with us. So that part was all, as I say, my waters broke at about 9 o'clock in the morning. I went into active labour, I think, at around 3 o'clock, and then gave birth at 6 o'clock. It was all very quick and also all very manageable. So as I say, very, very positive experience. And as I say, it also helped. My midwife was great. She made the experience what it was, really. I know not everyone's quite as lucky, but that definitely helped. It was, as I say, when it happened, it was very much like just our moment, our little bubble. Midwife was there, but it was like it was just us three, me, Sam and baby, in the room, which was, yeah, it was great. I'm going to put a bit of a trigger warning here, only because things didn't go quite as smoothly after the birth. So I'm going to talk a little bit about hemorrhaging, so if that's something that's going to trigger you, you might want to click off now. But yeah, so after I gave birth, obviously we were still in the pool, and then had to get out of the pool, and I didn't really think too much about it because obviously I don't know what's normal and what's not, but like the pool was red, like there was a lot of blood in there. But as I say, I didn't think too much about it because I didn't know if that's what was supposed to happen or not. So the midwife helped me out of the pool. Sam had the baby at this point. He was having cuddles with her and some skin to skin, and the midwife helped me over onto the bed so she could deliver the placenta and everything, so we haven't done that yet. So we needed to deliver the placenta, and then obviously she'd examine me and everything. So took me over onto the bed, lay me down, and I think I had the baby then. So once I was like comfortable, I was having cuddles with Sophia, and we were waiting for the placenta to deliver, and it wasn't coming, and I'd asked not to have the injection initially unless I needed it. So at that point the midwife's like, I think we're gonna have to give you the injection because it's not come by itself yet. So like, right, okay, had the injection, and then the placenta delivered. And some of the details are a bit hazy from this point because obviously I've just given birth, like I'm a little bit out of it. I've also, as I'm about to find out, had quite a big blood loss, so I'm not quite 100% with it. So I think it might have been before I delivered the placenta. Either way, at some point another midwife came in and they had a look at me, and they were talking about how there was a lot of blood basically, and they weren't really sure what was going on. I wasn't like panicked or anything at that point. I was just like, well, I feel okay, so I'm assuming everything's fine. I can't remember the exact timings, but either way, at some point there was a concern that I was bleeding and it wasn't stopping for whatever reason. So they were like, we're just gonna keep an eye on you. And I think, was it at that point then, I got my tea and toast. Yeah, best toast ever. You know, they talk about the toast after you've given birth. Oh, it was amazing. I was so hungry because I'd barely eaten all day either, because obviously I'd had some breakfast and then I hadn't really eaten anything because obviously I was having contractions, I was in pain, I didn't have an appetite at all, so I had to give birth on like an empty stomach, which is not ideal. So yeah, that toast was needed, and the cup of tea, yeah, amazing. So anyway, at some point the bleeding must have stopped and the panic seemed to subside, and then it was like shift change, I think, with the midwives. It was about 8 PM at this point, and we had a new midwife come in, and then she came and she like stitched me up and everything. So in terms of that, again, that was one of my big concerns before, was like, am I gonna tear? Like, oh, that's not a pleasant thought, is it? So I had 2 grade 2 tears, I think it was, one on each side, and I only needed a few stitches on one side. She said, I'm just going to stitch one side so they don't doesn't stick together when it heals, basically. I won't go into any more detail than that. So I only had a few stitches. Obviously that was all numb then, so I couldn't feel any of that, and that was fine. I think I was more worried about that than I was about giving birth, and it was absolutely fine. Like, I didn't feel anything. It's a bit weird obviously, but yeah, absolutely fine. So I got stitched up, and then we were just left in the room together, I think. Sam, I think, had at that point like dressed Sophia, and she'd been weighed and everything, so they'd been doing all of that. That was while I was getting stitched actually. So yeah, Sophia got weighed and dressed and everything while I was having that done, and then we were sort of left alone for a little bit just to be the 3 of us. So at that point I was like, I really need to go to the toilet, and the toilet was like on the other side of the room, and I thought, I'll be fine, like I feel okay, I'll just go. And as soon as I stood up, I didn't quite pass out, but I may as well have done. Like, everything went black, you know, like your ears are ringing, couldn't hear anything, just like basically just fell back down. Sam's then like pulling the cord, getting the midwives back in, so they're all there. I'm not really aware of what's going on now. Like, yeah, that was probably the worst bit, because I don't know why. Obviously I knew I'd lost blood and I'd just given birth, but I wasn't expecting to just like faint as soon as I stood up, but I almost did. So that was probably like the worst bit of it all. Anyway, lay me back down, like, right, just stay there, don't move anywhere. Like, right, okay. And then yeah, we were just in that room then for a few hours. Like I say, it was really quiet, so we were pretty much able to just relax and enjoy those first like moments as a family of 3. And because it was then starting to get on into the night at this point and it was quiet, they actually said that they had a free room, so we could have a private room for the night, which meant that Sam could stay over, which was amazing. I know most people don't get that. Obviously partners are normally sent home and mums are just sent onto the labour ward. But we were able to have a room for the 3 of us for the night, I can't say any of us slept. Like, I was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. I couldn't stand up because I just like almost fainting every time I got up. So Sam had to like pick baby up and put her down and stuff, so he had to look after the both of us. So it wasn't like the best night, but I'm just very grateful that we did get to spend the night in a private room together. So that was nice. So a little bit earlier in the evening, I'd had some blood taken. So the midwives were checking if I was going to need a blood transfusion or not, because I'd lost quite a lot of blood, and I was like, they weren't sure if I needed transfusion or not. And then we got the result back. I'm sure it wasn't until the next morning. Again, like, my timings and things are a little bit hazy, but anyway, the results came back and they said you're on the cusp, but you don't need it, basically, so you're gonna be okay. I didn't feel okay, I'll be honest. Like, it was hard. Honestly, it took weeks to feel better, and the first few days in particular were hard, especially when you've got a new baby as well. So every time I stood up, I'd just have to stand still for like a few minutes just so I didn't collapse, basically. I'd go just lightheaded, and yeah, it wasn't a great feeling. But at the end of the day, everything else went smoothly, and I can live with that. So I was given iron tablets to take afterwards, and yeah, just felt bit rotten, but equally, you know, I'd just given birth, so I wasn't expecting to feel amazing either. But yeah, the next morning we were just taken onto the labour ward waiting to be discharged, which took so long. I won't talk about that, but yeah, well, the midwives were great during labour and birth, and all of that part was great. The next day wasn't quite so much. It just felt very unorganised, and it just seemed to take forever. It was literally like 10:30 in the evening by the time we actually got discharged. But yeah, I won't talk about that. So I hope this brought maybe a little bit of positivity, a bit of comfort to some of you out there who might be a little bit nervous about giving birth. Yeah, would I do it again? Yes. Will I do it again? Hopefully. Whether or not it'll go quite as smoothly next time, I don't know. One thing I do know is I will probably go to the hospital a little bit sooner, because number 2 normally comes a little bit quicker than number 1, doesn't it? And number 1 nearly came at home. But yeah, I just thought I would share my story because, as I say, for me, very positive, and it's something that I have wanted to share since I gave birth, but I've just not really had the opportunity to sit down and talk about it. So if anyone has got any questions on it, then you can leave me a comment below and I will answer them. Probably missed out some details in here because, as I say, I didn't want it to be too long. But yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. If you like this video, then give it a like, and if you want to follow me on my motherhood journey, then please subscribe. And I'm trying to post every single week at the moment. So yeah, if you want to see more from me, then subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.